the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go, New York, go, New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 401, part of the Almighty Bowler Podcast Network. I am Jay, and with me is Mark.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. Let's just jump right into it. 24 points, 6 3-pointers. Sorry. I was reading Robert Covington's numbers. Sorry.
Oh God, he's still gonna be. It's fake news. It's completely fake news. I'm with Donald Trump on this. Both of us agree. Robert Covington is he's part of the liberal mainstream media BS. I get the real box scores for and I see the real box scores for Robert Covington. He puts up 0 for like 27 and 18 turnovers a night. I see what's really going on. Me and Donald Trump see what's really going on. So don't mess with us.
We did get a phone call. Do you want to hear the phone call?
Okay. What?
I'm going to play it right now.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Lance Thomas. I expect that apology. I'll be listening on Sunday. Bye.
Short and sweet, to the point. Lance Thomas wants an apology.
That's pretty awesome. He actually didn't play in the most recent game, so maybe he doesn't get it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, last time I apologized for going off on Lance Thomas, he was bad for about 3 months. So we're gonna hold off on the apology.
You could apologize to Lance Thomas. Lance Thomas has been pretty darn good.
He's been pretty good. He's been pretty.
Yeah. No, he's part of the rotation. He didn't play against the Knicks destroyed. What was it? Sacramento. They didn't play against Sacramento. Hornacek said after the game that if he thought they needed him for defense, they would have used him, but they didn't really think they needed him. They wanted to give Beasley a little more run. But did you hear? So I hate to break it to you, Jay, and I know. So there's another New York Knicks podcast out there that's just emerged that is going to be. It's by someone extremely popular, and I think we're in trouble.
Is it the Lance Thomas Knicks podcast?
No. They did the first episode, I think last night. It's the LeBron James New York Knicks podcast. He spent the whole show talking about how the Knicks should have taken Dennis Smith Jr. over Ntilikina.
Doesn't Dennis Smith Jr. not play defense?
Well, that's why LeBron James thinks we should have taken him. I don't know. He saw him. They played Dallas last night. I mean, he's a very athletic player. I'm sure Dennis Smith will be a very good player. I hope he's a good player. Well, I kind of hope. In some part of me hopes he's really good. Part of me hopes that he's really bad because I'm a Knicks fan and we passed over him.
And anytime LeBron could be proven wrong is also fun.
Yes, anything that removes why in God's name after the game he plays. There's nothing to do. The only reason he does it because he likes to poke the Knicks and he's playing the Knicks Monday night.
Yeah. I think he just wanted to get into Frank's head.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like, we're playing them Monday. Anything I could do to screw with the Knicks, I'd be happy to, because he's a total. Because the Knicks got rid of almost their entire roster in preparation for him to join the team in 2011 or whatever, and he didn't come here. He just likes to screw with the Knicks.
So since last episode, the Knicks have played 3 times, 2 wins, and coincidentally, Porzingis played 2 games.
Yes. So they played the Hornets. They played the Orlando Magic, and they played the Kings. You want to talk a little bit about each game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's start with the Hornets game. The Knicks were just coming off of a comeback victory against Indiana, right?
Correct, yeah. Very nice comeback.
Yeah, the Knicks were doing people thought maybe the Knicks were doing a Knicks comeback, in which the Knicks come very close, and then they let you down. But they did a Knicks comeback 2.0 with Porzingis, which means they actually win the game.
Yes.
And that got everyone excited. They're playing the Hornets, and you were kind of like, the Hornets are a pretty good team anyway, and this is kind of a letdown type game anyway coming into it, right?
Yeah. And they got down pretty big pretty early.
Yeah, Dwight Howard, the Knicks, he didn't quite look Dwight Howard of old, but he was really, Knicks had no answer to Dwight Howard. He was playing great early on. He was pushing her. Cantor looked like garbage against Dwight Howard, but be fair to say.
Yeah, and Malik Monk went absolutely nuts.
Malik Monk, I mean, I guess Malik Monk was like, "You didn't take me, Knicks. I'm gonna go off," and he went off. He was ridiculously hard to guard and just got shot after shot. He had 21 points against the Knicks. He played great. There's no.
And then the Knicks did what would normally be a Knicks comeback, which is come roaring back and then lose at the end. Only they just kept going.
I mean, it was like you were watching the game being like, first quarter, you're like, they're down. You're like, well, the Knicks kept making it a little bit closer, and then like the Hornets would come back in the lead, and they make it a little closer, and the Hornets get back in the lead, and you'd be like, it's just not going to be the night, whatever. I'm pretty happy with this team, blah, blah, blah. And then the fourth quarter happened.
You know,
The
it's
goddamn fourth quarter.
the first time in franchise history they were down double digits in back-to-back games and won both.
First time in franchise history?
Yeah.
It's like a unicorn moment.
It is. It is. So a big part of that, which I'm actually surprised, was Doug McDermott.
Dougie McBucket. By the way, on a total side note, my son has I've mentioned before on the show, my son has now gone into the Knicks, like a little bit. He's 6 years old. He's watched some of the games with me. He loves Doug McDermott. I don't know if he actually loves McDermott as much as he just loves saying his name. Mm-hmm. We got him a new Knicks shirt. He's like, "Daddy, could you write Doug McDermott on it?" He's like, he said Doug McDermott to me 37 times today.
So, if you follow us on Instagram, NY Knicks Podcast, your son actually came home with a Knicks book all on his own for the library.
Yes, from the school library. They bring out a book every week, and he was like, "Daddy, look what I got!" And it was a New York Knicks book. This Knicks book, just take a side. I think we'll just go on a little side jaunt into my life, or this Knicks book actually. So this Knicks book is from 2005, 2006. It talks about the history of the Knicks, and the history of the Knicks is good. It goes back to like the earliest days of the Knicks, and then goes to like mentions the team of the 70s when they won the title, the Patrick Ewing years. My son also asked, he's like, "Daddy, before they had Porzingis, who was the tallest Knick?" Which I kind of took as to be like, he means who was the best Knick. So I just said Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually really like in some way meant like the actual tallest player. But anyway, so it also honors the 2005-2006 team, which is so god awful. It talks about how much hope they have with guys like Jamal Crawford and Nate Robinson, and how they're building for success. And the team really is all about teamwork.
I did like Nate.
I like Nate, but this team is garbage.
Yeah, no,
the
it's
2005-2006 team is such garbage.
Terrible team. And
it talks so hopefully about this team that I just was trying to find whatever. It was awesome they brought home the book, but it's just so funny that like they'd mentioned the guys from the 2005-2006 team, and it was like I had to pretend like that was a good team just because I didn't want to tell my son. I was just like, just forget about this team. Like, what team now is really good? We got Porzingis.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Porzingis, Charlotte game 10 for 15, yet another box score that Melo never achieved in his wettest of dreams.
Yes. They Porzingis. What happens when you replace a? I don't want to bash Melo. Whatever. It was an inefficient, bit of a chucker at times. Now we have a really efficient scorer. It makes a huge difference.
No, it's a total coincidence that everyone on the Knicks is better this year and everyone on the Thunder is worse. It's just a coincidence.
Why is Porzingis so much better now?
Well, first of all, he worked on his game a lot. I mean, I don't want to put outside factors as the number one. Like this guy worked all summer. He's posted videos. He played in the EuroLeague. He put in a lot of effort. You could tell like he's bulked up too.
He said also there was an interview with Francesa, which they mentioned in the game last night, that he said that one of the things he wants to make sure to do this season is last year he felt like he lost too much weight during the season, which really hurt him in his game, and like this year he wants to make every effort to maintain weight throughout the season, so he can play longer and harder throughout the season.
I think number 2 is that the Knicks have 2 pass first point guards. I really think Derrick Rose really held him back with the fact that he just barely ever passed.
Well, I think that's definitely. I think also like you used to have space was occupied always by Melo calling for the ball most of the time when Porzingis was out there, and Porzingis had to kind of stand off to the side, or he would call for the ball also, but you'd have Melo's guy right near him. Like he just has more space to operate now.
He has more space, but I also think he has people that look for him as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack and Frank, like neither of them look for their shot. They're looking to get Porzingis open.
I mean, wouldn't you look to get Porzingis the ball too?
And Lee came out of nowhere with 9 assists against the Hornets too. So
came out of nowhere against Sacramento with 20 points.
Yeah, I mean Lee's had a great week. They shot 60% for the game against the Hornets.
Yeah, they're playing really well. You know, the Knicks are one of the best shooting teams in the NBA right now.
That's crazy, and that's with Hardaway shooting pretty bad almost every night.
I looked this up actually. I saw the other day. I was looking at the stats. Let me find the stats for the team stats. And like some things the Knicks are up, and some things the Knicks are still like hurting on.
Well, Cantor is top 5 in the league in field goal percentage.
What did you say?
Cantor, he's top 5 in the league in field goal percentage.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good.
And Porzingis is 2 in the league in scoring, which is just makes me so happy.
Oh, here we go. Hang on. Teams, stats. This is interesting. So, field goal percentage. The Knicks are number 2 in the NBA in field goal percentage.
Wow.
They're at 48.2%. The only team that's better in the NBA right now in field goal percentage are the Golden State Warriors.
That is some fine company.
I mean, obviously some teams, like, they probably, like, if you go to, like, what is it, true shooting percentage, the Knicks probably don't do quite as well because the Knicks don't shoot as many threes. But field goal percentage, they are so much better than they have been in the past. They're usually they're usually one of the worst teams in the NBA in field goal percentage.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 3 years, without looking, I would guarantee the last 3 years, the Knicks were bottom 5 in field goal percentage every year.
Well,
the other thing,
I mean, I'm just saying McDermott is like I don't know. He's just taken. It doesn't show up in his box score because I don't know. He's not playing a ton of minutes, but I feel like he's playing way better than he ever did. Like his numbers aren't better than his numbers in Chicago.
He's playing solid defense. He's playing not amazing, but like solid team defense. He's making a lot of effort on defense, trying to make himself better. On offense, I feel like McDermott hasn't shot a lot of threes yet. I feel like he could definitely shoot more per game. His shooting has been fantastic this year.
Yeah, I mean he's shooting about 8% better than his career high from the field in general, and he's shooting a little bit better than his career high in 3-pointers. I
also love every game. I have to have at least one, like every game at least once. Kyle O'Quinn hits Doug McDermott on cutting to the basket at least once a game for a basket.
Yep.
And it always looks nice.
Okay, so let's move on to the Magic game.
Wait, before we so the Knicks are up. What other category are the Knicks really good this year in? Like they're not near the top in many categories.
Blocks.
But what? Actually, I thought the Knicks were higher in this. Never mind. I was gonna say, where are they? Offensive rebound. Maybe they've fallen off a little bit. They're 11th in offensive rebounding. For some reason I thought they were higher in offensive rebounding. Blocks, they're not that high actually. In blocks, they are 15th in the NBA in blocks.
Okay. Well, I guess other than O'Quinn and Porzingis, they don't have a ton.
Do you think the Knicks should be shooting more 3-pointers?
I think they should, if they're open. I don't want them to force it, but if it's within the flow of the offense, yeah.
The Knicks right now are 20. Here's something that I think is important. I mean, like they can get their shooting percentage up, but the Knicks are 26th in the league in 3-pointers attempted, and I feel like that's a problem. I feel like you want to be at least near. I understand what you're saying. You don't want to force it up, but the Knicks could be near the middle of the pack in 3 points attempted, and they have guys that can shoot. Courtney Lee can shoot threes. What are you gonna say?
They don't have a lot.
No. They have some guys that can shoot. They have Courtney Lee can shoot threes.
Yeah.
McDermott can shoot threes.
Yep.
Timmy, in theory, can shoot threes.
In theory.
KP obviously can shoot threes.
Mm-hmm. That's about the end of the list, though.
Ntilikina actually I think might be decent from 3. I mean, we'll see. He has shot the ball like 7 times all year so far.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's what I think the key to this though is. The key to this, and I'm not going to give any. I mean, it's almost impossible to criticize a guy that's playing otherworldly right now. But the one thing, and Hornacek said this also actually after last night's game. If Porzingis could pass out basically when he's double teamed a little more, this team would be even more complete on offense. Because sometimes you get double or triple teamed, and he actually sometimes he just gets the basket anyway. But if he could pass out a little more and hit some of the 3-point shooters, that would be another lethal weapon on this team.
Yeah, yeah.
And that would be what would take the Knicks a little bit higher in 3-point shooting. Whatever. I mean, everything runs through Porzingis. He's amazing. Anything else you want to add about the Kings game?
No.
Not the Kings game, the Hornets game. Just that it was unbelievable comeback, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Orlando. What do you got to say about Orlando? So KP sits, Knicks lose.
Well, this was the game for Hardaway to step up, and he did. Well, oddly, this was one of his only efficient games of the last week.
Yeah. Let me ask you before going too much into the game, how do you feel about KP sitting like every other I guess let's say he sits every 10th game of the year. He sits 8 to 10 games a year to rest him a little bit.
So he's still playing 70 to 73 games.
Yeah, let's say he plays 74 games, sits 8 games for these obviously he had a little bit of injury concern. They want to sit him. He had the elbow contusion, which apparently he might need surgery for, but off season, and he had a sprained ankle. And obviously, any kind of you don't want to risk him getting more injured on the court. I feel like the Knicks have a history of going.
Works. I'm injured enough where I need surgery, but not for 6 months.
Yeah, and I feel like the Knicks have a history of being like, oh, he's kind of injured now. Let's play him another week and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine with that. If he sits 8 games a year, absolutely fine with that.
Yeah. So I also think it would make the Knicks better in the long run if they can learn to win when he's not playing.
Well, one, learn to win without it, and two, that may prevent him playing half injured for 20 games of the year.
Right. Absolutely. That's what they were saying in the game. They were saying this is better than him miss a game or two a game now than miss 10 later. Like
that season where Melo just limped around for 40 games. It was more of a detriment having him playing like that than it would have been to just sit him and have him get healthy.
Right. And the Knicks, they'll be a lot better to learn if they can learn to win without him. Because you can learn to win without him, they can learn then the team could be even more lethal when he has an off night, say.
What I did learn is that I think the Beasley experiment is over. And I was really high on Beasley.
Yeah, you thought he could be a starter on this team.
I was very high on Beasley going in, and he hasn't shown anything. I mean, if any night was a night for him to stand out, was him starting instead of Porzingis.
It's weird because he seems more passive. He seems more active on defense than he is. And he doesn't look particularly good on defense, but he seems so passive on offense. You give him the ball, he immediately passes it away. He doesn't. You would expect, especially a night like this, when they were just saying basically, Beasley, we need you to step up. You expect him to go into alpha Beasley mode and be give me the ball. I'm gonna drive to the basket every time.
I was expecting him to take between 15 and 20 shots that night.
You watched the Sacramento game. In the Sacramento game, he had this small moment where he did that basically, 2 straight possessions. He drove to the basket, and got points, and then I think we have our 10 minutes.
Yes, we do. Hello.
Hey, John?
Hello.
John?
Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing all right. Sorry I'm a few minutes late.
No worries. We have, so John is here to do our 10 minutes with a diehard Knicks fan segment. I'm going to, John, introduce yourself, and we'll begin the clock talking to you.
Okay, so I was a Knicks fan. I started watching them way back in 2001. So it was the season that they lost to the Raptors in the first round. So that was the first time that I started watching basketball or the Knicks or anything. So pretty much after that, all I knew was losing and all the bad trades, Isaiah Thomas, Eddie Curry. Just all the losing was all that I ever knew. So I kind of always like to say that I was a Knicks fan for all the losing seasons. Then we had 2012, which was nice. And then pretty much that was our lone glory spot, and it's just been awful since then. But as I've gotten older and the Knicks have gotten worse, it's kind of hard to see how a good business and a good operation is supposed to be run, and then just watching the Knicks keep messing up over and over and over again, and just keep making the same mistakes that are just annoying to keep having to see over and over again. But at least it sounds like this year we're off to the right spot again. And I've been listening to you guys for about 5 years, and I started listening to podcasts, and I travel for my job pretty much. I'm in the car a lot for the last 5 years. And you guys are one of only 2 podcasts that I originally listened to. And Mark, you appreciate the other podcast. It's Planet Money. So you guys and Planet Money are the only 2 podcasts I still listen to.
I'm a huge fan of Planet Money. So you started in 2001. There weren't that many bright spots in 2001. You had the 54-win season, a couple playoff appearances, insanity, some glimmers of hope quickly extinguished. Do you think we're finally are we heading towards the light finally? Do you think now we should be excited and there's going to be a sustainable excitement?
I think this is why you guys are so popular and why we as Knicks fans relate to you so much is we want to hope and believe that this is finally the turning point, but we just know that something can happen. Porzingis gets hurt, or Phil Jackson 2.0 comes in, or James Dolan comes and messes something up, and he gets traded, or Tim Hardaway we have for another 3 years and keeps playing like he does, or Noah becomes our starting center. There's just so many things that you want to believe, but you've just seen the wrong thing happen, so it's hard to keep that optimistic light.
I mean, isn't it weird? I was watching the Sacramento game, and I actually watched it again this morning with my son, and because he likes watching it now. The KP just made everything look so goddamn easy against Sacramento. He just looked unstoppable, and I'm watching it, and the whole time I'm like, please don't let him get injured. This is just too good. Please don't let him get not necessarily injured tonight, as much as please don't let this not be an apparition. Let this be real. Let the Knicks fan just have a guy like this and just enjoy him.
I think the other thing for it too, we went through so many years of Melo and just being inefficient and ball stopping and everything. It's so encouraging and nice to see Porzingis score 34 points in 27 minutes in that Sacramento game. And, they have 2, even though we don't have Ntilikina is not exactly where he needs to be as a starting point guard yet, we have 2 point guards averaging over 5 assists. And, what we've always said we want on a point guard is somebody who passes and plays defense. And, he's second on the team in assists and leading the team in steals and very limited time playing. So, between him and Porzingis, we've got our big and our point guard. So, again, the optimistic light is definitely on. But as a Knicks fan, you just always got to keep that pessimistic side of you too.
We just talked about, before you called in, we were talking about why is KP so much better this year? Why do you think how does KP taken the step to the next level? Why is he so much better?
I think 2 things. One, I think the Knicks are finally moving the ball around. I mean, I think you guys have done a good job of, it was Melo's fault, but it wasn't Melo's fault. It wasn't really his fault. It was just, he's so late in his career when he came to the Knicks, he kind of was the player that he was, and, they didn't really give him enough. When you give somebody a new team basically every year, it's very hard for them to ever get used to that. So now that Melo is gone, I think that the ball's moving around, and the Knicks are actually playing like a team again, which is nice to watch. But I also think for whatever reason they actually have decent shooters now. I mean, I think the stat was after last night's game, they've had 5 straight games of shooting over 50%. Porzingis is just shooting unbelievable from everywhere. But they actually, McDermott's playing good. Kyle O'Quinn, Cox playing good. So just a lot of, they're playing like a team. And sometimes that's all you need. We're not used to this.
Would you be shocked to learn, we also just mentioned on the show before you called in, do you know the Knicks are second in the NBA in field goal percentage?
Well, when I just heard that the five straight games over 50%, the longest streak is 96, 97, I'm not surprised that you say that. But yeah, I'd be shocked if you said that this team right now, where after Porzingis and even Hardaway's never really been a good shooter throughout his career, that they would be second in the NBA in field goal percentage. I would have said you were crazy for now or the start of the season.
Let's move on to another topic. Big story that broke with the Knicks today. Not that big, but in our Knicks world, it is. The Knicks cut Kuzminskis. They Noah, the black cloud that is Noah, is coming back. We got to cut someone. They're not going to cut Noah because he has the giant contract. How do you feel about Kuz getting cut? Did you think there was the right move, the wrong move? What's your take on it?
I liked him last year in the limited time that he got to play, but if he can't even crack the rotation this year, if we can't even get Billy some minutes, then I just think that it's not worth having him. And I know, Mark, you really like Dotson, and Dotson had a great game against the Kings too. It was the first time I got to really see him play. I don't get to watch the games as much. I watch them on YouTube. They have like these little 9-minute highlights. So that's the other kind of thing where I'm a little bit biased. I only get to see the good plays. I don't get to watch the whole games. So that's why it's nice to listen to you guys to hear what the Knicks are actually messing up with. But Noah's Noah. We're not going to get rid of him. And I just hope that even though it's still early in the season and we're winning and everything, Timmy Hardaway is not looking like he's looking like what we thought he was. I mean, even though he's at least doing a little bit more with the assisting and rebounding. I want to say he's averaging career highs in those. At least he's getting like close to 3 and 3. But it's just high volume. He's a worse or a poor man's Melo, I guess you could say maybe.
If you a lot of times I guess you're traveling, you can't see the Knicks game live. You're watching them on YouTube, and you're going for the Knicks highlights. In the last couple of years, did a lot of times you're like, okay, click Knicks highlights. Did you get a thing that just said this video does not exist?
It was just not even worth watching it. Why would I spend 10 minutes of my time already knowing the outcome of the result of a 20, 30-point loss? So it was kind of hard to look into that where the 9-minute highlight is just of the other team and nothing of the Knicks.
I am super excited about. Speaking of Dotson, who I'm glad you brought up, I am super excited about Dotson. I feel like he. I mean, what do you think he's? I mean, my guess is he's probably like a really top. He could be a very good contributor off the bench. I'm not sure if he's going to be a starter, but what do you think of him? Like, do you think this guy should be getting minutes right now?
I think I'm just kind of shocked. I mean, I don't know. I guess this is where I don't watch games, but I mean, I've always respected Sessions as a player. I know we wanted to get him before and everything. And I know he was the one leading the team, and we got off to the 0-3 start. And if you had to ask me who I'd rather have playing, Sessions or Jack, I would say Jack. But I'm just shocked that Sessions hasn't got any playing time, and McDermott's playing good too. So I think Dotson is maybe 10 minutes a night, or if it's a blowout or something like that, maybe get up to 15. But I think his minutes are good where they are right now. But I'm kind of shocked that McDermott's been playing so well too.
Yeah,
he's shooting as well.
When's the last time you said it's been trouble getting guys in because other guys are playing well? Like last couple of years, it's like, well, do we go with this guy who sucks versus this guy who sucks? Like, it's amazing.
I know. I'm just. I really hope that Ntilikina can keep, growing as a player, and obviously he's out for the beginning of the season with his injury, and probably still finding himself. Besides just, getting his body right and learning the NBA, but just to see the assists and the steals, those are the two things we've always wanted in a point guard: a good defender and somebody who can set the team up. And just to see those two things off to a good start for him right now, I think that's, besides KP, obviously, that's like the other extremely bright spot for the Knicks right now.
Should Hornacek be trying to get Ntilikina to be a little more aggressive on offense? Because I know we like the fact that he's pass first, but to a certain extent, it'd be great if he could break down the defense a little bit more. Like if you could if you could look for a shot a little bit more, it'd make him even more effective as a passer.
We're talking about Ntilikina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think he's still a rookie. He's only been back for a few games. Maybe you give him a few more minutes, but if you look at his going to not real, I guess it's not really an advanced statistic, but his plus minus, he's been a plus for all his minutes on the court right now. So the few times he's been on the floor, he's been effective for it. So I hope Hornacek is just kind of grooming him and letting him grow into the role where we're only 12 games into the season right now. That once we get closer to the midway point or anything, he'll become the starter and be ready more for full NBA grind season.
Okay, so we're coming to the last. We're a little bit over 9 minutes. We're coming to the end of the call. Last question to you. You heard LeBron James' comments saying the Knicks should have taken Dennis Smith Jr. For some reason, you're in the room with LeBron. You get to respond to him. What do you say to him?
I would say that, as we learned from one of the articles on your website, the draft's a crapshoot. It's just you got to pick for what your needs are and go from there and see what happens with it. But I think Ntilikina has shown that he's what we need right now, and he has a good connection with Porzingis. So I'm perfectly content with what we did right now. And Dennis Smith is on a losing Mavericks team now. It's won one game.
Yeah. Are the Knicks going to beat Cleveland Monday night?
I mean, Cleveland barely beat the Mavericks, so they're struggling mightily right now. So I would say we definitely have. It's nice to be able to say that, yes, we actually have a chance to beat the Cavaliers, whether they're struggling or not. Just the fact that when you look at the schedule for a game now for the Knicks, it's not like, oh, we're going to lose that game, we're going to lose that game. You actually have some hope that they can win it.
It is nice to actually have hope as a Knicks fan. Like that's the biggest thing
Yes.
of all.
Definitely.
John, thank you so much for calling. Any last things you want to say before we cut you off?
I just want to say it's funny, listening to you guys for 5 years. You guys have always had a phone number to call in, but until you finally actually advertise the time for it and everything, now you got callers lining up all the time. But it's funny, anybody could have always done this, and nobody ever took the initiative for it. So thank you guys for letting us say our side of the story too. And we like the work that you guys do.
Thank you. It is funny we have had the number for this long, but I guess it's awesome that people are calling in. We really love it. So,
do you have anything you want to plug, Twitter or anything?
Nope. Like I said, I've been a big listener for 5 years. I think you guys keep it real. You're optimistic, but you're pessimistic at the same time, which I don't think you can be a Knicks fan any other way if you've gone through the last 15 years like we all have.
Yeah.
Totally there's nothing else. I mean, like there's just always the black cloud you're hanging over your head, basically, as a Knicks fan.
Yeah. But it looks like it might be going away now. So.
Yes. KP has brought the sunshine, so let's hopefully this lasts. John, thanks for calling, and we are going to move on with the show, but thank you very much.
Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Hey, you too. Take care. All right, another good call. We are on a hot streak.
On a hot streak, just like the Knicks are on a hot streak. So takeaways from the Orlando game, just going back to it real quickly. The Knicks could have won this game if not for having 8 million turnovers and 8 million fouls and doing everything possible to throw the game. Is that a fair takeaway?
Anytime you get 23 turnovers, you're going to have a hard time winning a game.
I mean, what I wanted more from this game is I wanted Michael Beasley to be in more alpha attack mode. Like, I just like to see more from him. Hardaway, his numbers look really good. I don't know. I still wanted more from Hardaway in the game. Cantor looked like crap. Jack looked like mediocre. Courtney Lee, I want Courtney Lee has shown he can, like in the Sacramento game, he can do a lot. If he needs to be a little, I want to see him a little bit less passive, a little more aggressive at times. And same with Doug McDermott, I'd say.
Yeah, Courtney Lee is one of our best free agent signings that I can remember.
I mean, Kyle Quinn is also one of our best free agent signings.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Quinn has one of the best contracts in the NBA now. But
do we have to actually at some point we have to re-sign him, and that's going to be really annoying. I mean, if they choose to, but like right now he's getting like an absurdly, he's just like $5 million a year. It was like I think it was a 4-year deal, and it was one of the best, like the best value you can get, basically.
Yeah, I think it was 4 years, $16 million, which is less than we're paying Hardaway per year.
I mean, that means we're paying him $4 million a year. We just paid Kuz $3 million to go away.
Right. We're paying Baker to wear a suit.
But anyway, what do you think? Just on a side note, the cutting Kuz, the sign and keeping Sessions. What do you think?
That's fine because Kuz is in a logjam position, whereas Sessions is not.
Yeah, I just think he couldn't get minutes now, and if Jack gets injured, you're going to be very happy Sessions is still there. And whatever you want to say about having Baker, no one thinks Baker is a starting point guard right now.
No.
I don't think we don't really think he's a point guard, to be honest. He's more of a shooting guard. He's more of a in-betweener, basically.
Yeah. You want to move on to the Kings game?
I bet the Kings don't want us to move on to the Kings game.
No, definitely not.
This was great actually. I loved showing this game to my son this morning because the Kings won up. What was it? They were up 10-0 and then 13-2, and you thought you were in for like a long night, right?
Yeah, and it turns out that was it.
Yeah, and I remember the Knicks just they had a couple turnovers. I think KP had a block early, which was pretty cool. But the Knicks had a couple turnovers early. One thing I've also noticed that. So I think Jack was driving to the basket and he gave a bounce pass to Cantor. Cantor couldn't wheel it in. Don't you feel like with the big men you shouldn't be doing too many bounce passes? Right. Yeah. I feel like sometimes they do that too much. And I'm like, if you're 7 foot, trying to get down and get a bounce pass is not the ideal thing, but it's not a big deal. But the Knicks looked like crap to start the game, and from there they just took over basically.
Yeah. The thing is, it was a 27-point win. Beasley played 21 minutes and had a -4.
Yeah, Beasley did not look that good. Well, what kind of happened also is the Knicks, after that little 13-2 run, the Sacramento one, the Knicks came back with a vengeance, and then they put their second unit in. The second unit kind of floundered a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Beasley was leading the charge in the second unit that was floundering. The Knicks need some guy in the second unit to step up a little bit on offense.
Yeah,
because
I just think I'm over Beasley. Like, I feel like it should be the second unit should be Frank, McDermott, Dodson, O'Quinn. That's it. 9-guy rotation.
But here's the problem on that
Lance
second
Thomas.
unit, and I think they've been putting Courtney Lee a little more. He's trying to stagger Lee in there, and they staggered. He put Cantor in there at some point to like stagger the minutes a little bit to like get more offense.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't have anyone that's really stepping up on offense. You have guys like McDermott, which is a guy that like he's really good at cutting. He's a good like spot up shooter, but he's not necessarily taking control of the offense. You were hoping Beasley would do that. No one else in that unit really would either. Dotson's not a guy who's going to take control of the offense.
Well, I mean, in 14
Ntilikina
minutes, he
is
took
not
9
doing
shots.
What do you say?
In 14 minutes, he took 9 shots. That's
Yeah, he did.
kind of taking
He looked.
over.
I loved watching him. I feel like this guy should get more minutes right now. I feel like they say he's a hell of a shooter. They said like in practice the guy's like just a knockdown shooter, and he's supposed to be pretty solid defensively. Why not give him more minutes now and see how it goes?
Give him Beasley's minutes.
Yeah, I mean like Beasley's minutes should go between Lance Thomas and Dotson. Lance Thomas in maybe more crucial moments, and Dotson when the Knicks are they're feeling good about themselves and give Dotson a little more run until he proves himself.
Yep.
But that second, don't you feel that second unit though? With like sometimes you're just wondering where the offense is going to come from.
Yeah, it's a little feast or famine with that.
At the same time, so Porzingis missed his first 3 shots. I think Clyde was even saying Porzingis' shot looked a little bit weird, and from there Porzingis went into beast mode and made it look like the NBA was just like an easy basketball game, like he had a cheat code to the NBA.
Yeah.
He was just unstoppable, basically. Cauley Stein was just like, okay, now he's going to do this to me. Now he's going to do this to me. Great. Just wonderful.
He's only 22.
Holy crap. He was just like hitting everything. The moment in that game where we could just dream about the future more than anything was when Ntilikina hit Porzingis for an alley-oop. And you were like, oh my God, this could be the future.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome game. That was just like Porzingis barely had to play the second half. I think he played 6 minutes in the second half, and they were just like, okay, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you keep guys fresh. I mean, that's what the Warriors do. They blow people out in the third quarter and sit the fourth. Like, if we could have more games like that, it would keep them even healthier.
And on a side note, so what the hell is Sacramento doing? I mean, I had to say, I thought in the offseason, I gave them credit. I thought bringing in Randolph and George Hill made a lot of sense.
And Vince Carter.
Is Vince Carter injured?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, I don't remember seeing him play
No, he's not
in the game.
Though.
And I know I would have remembered him because he would have probably hit like 7 threes against the Knicks or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've kind of made a mistake now. Do you realize that so they said that Phil Jackson, instead of signing Timmy, Phil's goal was to sign George Hill to mentor Ntilikina. Do you think that would have been a good move?
No.
Why not?
One, George Hill isn't really having a good season.
But he had a great year for Utah last year.
Yeah. 2, I think George was going to require way too much money.
Yeah, well, he did. He was a big contract, absolutely. But basically similar money you gave Timmy.
Yeah, well, we know how I feel about the Timmy contract. Just because we have money doesn't mean we have to give a bad contract.
I'm just saying we had the money to burn, Jay. We had the money to burn.
Yeah.
I just feel like with George Hill, the problem is you gave him the big contract. He has to play big minutes for you, which is fine except if you have an understudy who you want to get big minutes for also. And like the Knicks, they have guys that like, if any point Ntilikina really like you think like he's ready to take over the starting role, you'll just say, Jack, you're done. You'll go to the bench. Not a big deal.
Right. And
Versus
Jack's
you
like,
have.
well, I wasn't expecting to, play 35 minutes a game anyway, whereas George Hill would.
Yeah, they have De'Aaron Fox, who I thought looked pretty good. I would have been like, if he was on the Knicks, I'd be very happy. But you have De'Aaron Fox, who like you could like Sacramento's horrible. De'Aaron Fox should be starting at this point. Like George Hill doesn't look anything special. You should be giving De'Aaron Fox a ton of minutes, and you're not. And the same thing, they also have Buddy Hield, who played like 25, 26 minutes in the game. But why is he not playing 35 minutes? Like Buddy Hield, he's an offensive weapon. Like it seems like their starters can't seem to score, but their bench is pretty awesome, at least on offense. I don't know what Sacramento's doing. They brought in all these vets who have to take all these minutes at the expense of all their young guys.
Well, I think they didn't think that Randolph was going to be as washed up as he is. And I don't know. On paper, it seemed like it was a good idea. It just didn't work out in reality. Yeah,
and I have to say, I didn't like hate what they were doing, but like it just seems like now the team's already 3-8. Like you would think like going forward they just say like play the young guys, but now you have all these vets who probably are wanting minutes. I feel like you're going to basically create some like a bad locker room there.
Yeah.
But
want to go to questions?
Yeah, let's go to questions. But any final thoughts on the game? Is it nice to see the Knicks just be like, oh, Sacramento, we'll beat the crap out of them because we're the Knicks?
I know. It's I just hope this keeps up. I almost feel like it's fool's gold, but it's so much fun right now. I'm just enjoying the ride.
I can't believe how good, like, and I feel like there's so many guys in this team who could be playing. I know the players are playing better, but who could be playing even better.
Yeah. Like
not in like irrational. Like I don't expect Doug McDermott to become like a 20-point scorer a night, but I feel like there's a lot of things he could be doing better. Like just a lot of, like this team is awesome. Go to the questions.
So all of a sudden we have a lot of people contributing to the website. So if you go to the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com, just this week we have an article about Kristaps having an MVP-like case. Daniel wrote that. We had an article about Frank and KP and possibly making the playoffs, written by Declan. And we had a look back on Patrick Ewing's career, written by Jared. So I want to thank everybody for contributing. Check those out. It's some good stuff. And I wrote the Knicks roster power rankings. Didn't get yelled at this week. I guess.
Well, which means people didn't read them closely.
Well, I had Timmy high enough, I think.
Just going back to the stats, by the way, I just want another stat I wanted to point out about the Knicks, which is surprising. You know the Knicks are 7th in the NBA in assists?
That is another huge difference, yes.
I mean, like the two stats I would never have thought the Knicks would be in the top 10 are field goal percentage and assists.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, check out the website. We got content. I got another article that's going to go up tonight or tomorrow morning. And we're also looking, if you want to contribute, email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Game recaps would be good if somebody wants to do some game recaps.
Yes, that would be awesome. Also, serious, if you want to be on the 10-minute, where the 10-minute with a diehard fan has been booking up. But I think we're actually booked till January. But if you want to be on, email us. We'd love to have you on. The more fans coming on, the better. We love talking to everyone.
There you go. So
we have not had a bad call yet. So let's not break that streak. Every call has been awesome so far.
No pressure though. Don't be the one.
No pressure. Don't be the Joakim Noah and all. Then screw this up for us.
Don't be the one to make us cancel the segment.
So Noah's coming back on Tuesday night, or Monday night against the Cavs. What do you think's gonna happen? Forget what's gonna happen in the Cavs game. What do you think is gonna happen as far as does Noah come back? Is he starting? Is he the first guy off the bench? What happens?
First guy off the bench, 5-game losing streak. Just destroys destroys the chemistry. Good times over.
God. Are you from the future just telling me what actually happens, or are you predicting?
Hey, I picked Porzingis. I know what's up.
Horny made me feel better because Horny said definitely would like to work him back in, but the guys I'm very happy with the way the guys are playing right now. So he made some comments that made me think that like he's going to work the guy back in slowly, which is what the appropriate thing to do is to work Noah back in pretty slowly.
Noah, you can have like 7 of Beasley's minutes.
Yes. You can have the minutes that Dotson is not using right now.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I can see if you're having a night and where if Cantor looks like mediocre and Cock is looking mediocre, throw Noah out there. But if Cantor starts off playing well, or Noah's playing, or sorry, not Noah's not playing well. If Cock is playing well, it's hard to sit them in favor of just getting this guy minutes.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to treat it like, hey, it's not like you're coming off an injury. You screwed the team. Well, you kind of helped the team, but you screwed the team in theory by like doing this banned substance. You should work your way, earn your minutes back, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, questions.
We also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/NYKnicksPodcast. It's basically a way to support the show for as little as $1 a month.
Jay has said if we get one Patreon this week, he will apologize to Lance Thomas.
We are a few dollars away from breaking even on the podcast after 8 years. So,
what's the what level of contribution do we need to get you to shut up about Robert Covington?
None. It doesn't matter. It's happening. We got 70 more games of this.
God damn it! Fake news.
You thought you were so funny during the draft.
Oh my God, Robert Covington. Okay, just move on. How's your team doing, by the way?
I lost this week 5-4.
I hope Robert Covington was the difference in losing.
But Bledsoe is back, so I'm finally fully staffed.
Did we talk about the Bledsoe trade? Was that last week or was it this week?
No, we didn't. Bledsoe got traded to Milwaukee for Greg Monroe, a first rounder, and a second rounder.
I would have accepted you just saying he got traded for a pile of garbage, but I mean, you got an expiring contract. The first rounder is going to be a late first rounder, and a even later second rounder. That's not much of a haul.
No, not much, but they were in a bad position. It's just weird that they got somebody who plays a position that they're stacked on. I mean, he might just get bought out.
Oh, you mean
Greg Monroe?
Yeah, Greg Monroe. I was gonna say, like, because Milwaukee, like, their rookie of the year plays the position that Bledsoe plays.
He is,
but
Bledsoe's still better.
Yeah, Bledsoe's still better. And I feel like you could probably just say we're gonna play these guys together and see how it goes, and be fine with that. I feel like Milwaukee. I mean, everyone's looking at the Cleveland's vulnerable. We should make a move and go for it. Do you think there'll be a lot more moves, like, because of that? Like, the Wizards could try to make a move to, like, I mean, the Wizards, the Raptors, the Celtics, and Milwaukee should all be trying to make, like, whatever they can to go all in right now.
Celtics won 12 in a row. I don't think they need to make any moves.
Yeah, that's true. I can't believe you look at the Celtics. They have one guy that was the starter for them last year, starting right now. Besides Horford, none of the other 5 starters right now were starters last year, and they're 12-2.
Yeah.
And they're one of their prized offseason acquisitions is out for the season. Whatever. They're playing. They're the best defense in the NBA right now.
And they're really young, which means next year they might be even better.
God damn it.
So, emails, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Lorenzo writes, hey guys, in regards to your question last week about viewing games living overseas, you can get League Pass in most countries for every single game. In Australia, I just paid $300 for the year. I consider that a bargain. Or you can do it the dodgy way, use one of those ISP masks and select India or Mexico or something and pay like $100.
Oh, that's probably a good idea. I love also that we got so many people telling us how they watch them overseas, which I think is pretty awesome.
It was interesting.
I also think what were you gonna say?
It was interesting.
It was interesting. It also was like we were like, oh, no one's doing that, as if no one's broadcasting these games overseas. We're this stupid.
Yeah, we are dumb.
We are dumb.
William writes, guys, in regards to the playoffs, totally agree. We should go for the playoffs until or if we bomb, like we did last year after Christmas. If we lose a bunch, we should tank and tank right. Let's hope for playoffs this year.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, no one's hoping for. I also right now, you know what I really hate when you read like message boards on Twitter. Someone's like, "Yeah, where are all these tank fans now?" No one's in favor of tanking right now. No one wants to see a good team tank. I think we can all say if the Knicks lose 15 in a row, we'll probably from that point we'd probably say like, if the Knicks fall apart completely, we'd all be fine with going back to tanking. Yeah. But right now, I think they have I think the Knicks have a pretty solid chance of getting to 500 this year, which I feel like would get you into the playoffs in the East.
Would definitely get you into the playoffs in the East.
I feel like you're going to go back. I feel like this team, like we should there are a lot of teams we should be able to beat. The good teams, we're not quite there yet, but like the bad teams, like the Sacramentos, we should beat the crap out of.
Nick sent us a bunch of Knicks film school videos, so thank you for that. And I want to thank Strive for constantly sending us things on Twitter. He's like our news guy there.
He sends us awesome stuff. Can I point out that I actually wanted to say this? The best thing that Strive has probably sent us of all is a fake tweet from a fake a real tweet from a fake Ian Begley account, the ESPN guy that covers the Knicks, who's amazing. This is the fake tweet. Frank Ntilikina on LeBron James comments. The guy is 3-5 in the finals and he's coming at me. Kevin Durant owns that little guy. I don't have to prove anything to the scum like him.
Nice.
I love it. Like for a half a second, because the count looks legit, and you're like, wait, there's no way he said that.
Kurt writes, "Hey guys, great show last week. Just one quick one to help the guy who wrote in from Southampton. The full league pass cost me €24 a month, and for that I get access to every game live and on demand. You can watch NBA League Pass through Apple TV and online. Hope this helps. In other news, Jay, I intercepted your pen delivery, and I'm holding them ransom in Birmingham." Damn it.
What's going on with your pens, Jay? What's going on with your guerrilla campaign for the Knicks?
I have contacted the pen company. They are sending a second shipment, and I should have it by next weekend. So
okay, so there you have, New York Knicks podcast fans. Someone has to intercept these pens so Jay never gets them. I want this to be a running bit on the show going forward that Jay will never get the pens.
So the two people who I owe shirts to, I will send them out as soon as I get the pens.
Oh my God, these pens. What are you gonna do? So you hang on, you get 100 pens. Yeah. You're gonna send those two out. You'll have 98 left. What are you doing with 98 of them?
Guerrilla marketing, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I think you have the same. You could go to the zoo and throw it into the cage with the gorillas. It would have just the same effect.
Okay. I disagree.
Actually, that would actually be the best thing you could do, because then you'd get like in the news being arrested for throwing pens into and they'd be like, the pens on New York Knicks podcast, New York Post reports.
People are gonna want these pens.
I'm sure they will.
There's buzz. See you guys in November for the Heat game. Oh, and if anyone knows any contacts at Terminal 5 who could get me tickets for Liam Gallagher on the 27th, I'd be most grateful. Now, I know Mark knows nothing about music, so I'm guessing you don't know who Liam Gallagher is.
Oasis, I know that, okay?
You know that? I'm surprised. Okay.
I was alive there in the 90s.
Yeah, well, you seem to have a big gap in musical knowledge.
I do. That's a totally fair criticism, but I know who Liam Gallagher is. Is he not? Do they not play together anymore? That's how little I know.
That's why Oasis broke up. The Gallagher brothers were like literally fist fighting between sets and like just had to break up.
You have to be like, if you were like their agent, you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? It's not like they were it's not like they were the Beatles, even though I think they thought they were bigger than the Beatles. Yeah. You have something good here. What the hell? Why can't you keep it going?
It's frustrating when bands do that. I listened to this other band, Supergrass, and the same thing. Like they were halfway through like their 6th album, and they're just like, we can't get along anymore. Album's canceled. And that's
the difference is no one gave a crap with the Supergrass crap. I mean, you're making up band names now.
That's another group that's big in Europe and not so big in the United States.
Whatever. It's almost kind of like, if you want to, let's go back to the NBA with this. It's almost like, hey, Kyrie, do you like going to the championship every year? Nah, I want to shake things up a little bit.
Except that now they look like they might go to the finals.
I know they might go to the finals again. Do you think? I mean, whatever. I think Cleveland's still going to turn it around, especially when they get if they ever get Isaiah Thomas back. But do you enjoy Derrick Rose being a black hole there?
Absolutely. I get so much joy of Derrick Rose just screwing up a perennial finals team.
And also, Oklahoma's winning tonight. Of course, you know why they're winning tonight? Carmelo's sitting.
Be careful. The melosexuals are going to come out full force and attack you.
There was an Oklahoma OKC Twitter account that was saying something about how the ball seems to die when it gets to Melo. What's up with that? And I just wrote back, really? Hadn't noticed.
Robert writes, hey, I'm an avid listener, loving listening to you guys talk on, and it lights up my dreary walks in the rain. I'm actually from Manchester in the UK and been following the Knicks since going to MSG 2 years ago. I'm still learning a ton about the game and tactics from you guys talking and following the Knicks online. Arguably, KP has been a standout this season and love watching him on both sides of the court. I was wondering why it's so hard to find out information about two-way contracts and G League players. I love a story of someone coming from nowhere and becoming a star, so I wanted to ask, how do you rate Cornette and the other guy? Will they ever see the NBA? Great. Keep up the great work. Let's hope the Knicks do. Thanks, Rob.
That's a good. So actually, important point. The Westchester Knicks are playing right now. They're 3-1 right now in the season. It's hard to really rate D League stats because I gotta tell you, I don't get to watch the D League games live, and you see a guy put up 20, 25 points. I don't know. It's hard to the competition's so much weaker, so it's hard to know what to make of it half the time.
Yeah, it's hard to even find stats, and when you do,
well, if you go to a G League, I mean, it's not hard to find the stats. They have a website. GLeague.nba.com has all the stats. What do you mean it's hard to find stats?
Well, I had trouble finding it.
Do you think you had to go to some secret room, give someone an egg, have the guy go okay, I'll get this to you in 1 hour?
I went to the dark web and I couldn't find anything on there.
So it's all I found was young boys naked, and I stayed there for a couple hours, but
So, yeah, the contract thing is also a little confusing. The two-way contracts and.
So basically, what it means is that the Knicks own the rights to the player, or the NBA, the team owns the rights to the player, and the player can play a certain number of games in the NBA. I think it's 30 games they can play, maximum in the NBA, and they get paid more money. And this is a way to expand your roster and develop a player, because all the guys in the Westchester roster are most of them are just affiliated with the Knicks, but the Knicks don't own the rights to them. So a guy like Trey Burke, he's affiliated with the Knicks. But the Dallas Mavericks could sign Trey Burke right now. The Knicks aren't necessarily the only team that could sign him. Versus Luke Cornett, who has a two-way contract, the Knicks own the rights to Luke Cornett. No one else can sign him.
Interesting. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I feel I actually thought every team should have their own minor league / G League team, and every team should have 15 guys where they have the rights to them that season.
Yeah.
One thing that the Knicks are also doing right from the start of the season, I feel the Knicks usually take until halfway into the season to start doing this more, but they've already been sending guys down to get more run time. The other night, Baker and Dotson both played for the G League team, and I think tonight also Baker and Dotson are playing, or tonight or tomorrow night. I guess not tomorrow night, not during the Cavs game, but maybe it's tonight. Baker and Dotson were going down again to play, which is pretty smart. You should give these guys a lot more minutes because that will make your team them better, basically.
Yeah, 4 years ago we were complaining why the Knicks didn't do that, so I'm glad they're smartening up.
Let me see what and just to see what Dotson did. So this is today's game. Dotson had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on pretty solid shooting, and Baker had 12 points on 3. He had 3 steals. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the best, and he had 1 assist. He's our point guard in the future. Guys have been playing pretty well. Cornette's been playing okay. Xavier Nathan Mays has been playing pretty solid for them. I think I've been looking at the box scores. He's been putting up some good nights. Trey Burke had a good game today, but it's so hard to say against it's weaker competition, so it's hard to say who's going to be really good going forward. But it looks like they have some talent. The Knicks are winning games, so which says alone the Knicks have some talent. But I think they're 3-2 now actually, since they lost today. But it's fun to have that. I mean, I don't know when the games are on. Are the games on, MSG?
I think some are. I don't know if they all are. I think some are, though.
I guess I also just asked someone who didn't even know where to find the stats.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you probably don't know. Should they give Willie should be going down also? Don't you feel like? I mean, not during their actual games, but shouldn't Willie be getting some run? Anyone that's not playing for the Knicks enough should get more playing time in the G League. And I feel like Willie also. One of the things I was thinking about with Willie with his lack of minutes is kind of what Atlanta did with Timmy Hardaway. When Hardaway went to Atlanta, they said, "We like your offense. You're not playing until you can prove that you can actually play some defense." And the big knock on Willie right now is his defense. So the more you say, it's not the worst thing he's getting limited playing time if he realizes what's holding him back is his defense and he really works on his defense.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on.
We have so many questions, and
Let's go.
we're
Let's
almost
go
out of time.
Okay, let's go. We'll go in fast mode. Okay, are you ready for Facebook?
No, not even close.
Okay, go faster then.
Lorenzo, right? Yeah, me go faster.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, Mark doesn't shut up. Go on.
Wasn't that one of our emails?
That should be the show, New York Knicks podcast. Mark doesn't show up.
I hear his podcast, and Mark doesn't show up. Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, as we know, once Noah comes back, there will be some decisions to be made. Here is a role play of one of the possibilities. Jay can play James Dolan, and Mark can be himself and freestyle his answers. Jay may need to freestyle an answer to Mark's response before launching into my script."
I don't have this email up. Okay. What's the basic gist of it?
Bring, bring.
Hello, this is James Dolan.
Hi, is this Mark?
Oh, okay. I'm not James Dolan. No, this is Mark. What's up?
This is James Dolan of your New York Knicks. I have some bad news and some good news. First, the good news. I would like to offer you and Jay courtside seats for the rest of your lives, right in between Spike Lee and Hornacek's daughter. There will be unlimited beer and funfetti cakes each game. That's a reference to our other podcast. This is for having such a great podcast. What do you think?
Sounds really good, Devil. What's the downside?
Well, now for the bad news. As you know, with Noah coming back, we have to make some choices with our roster, so we're waiving KP. You have a nice day now.
I don't have a response.
You're evil, Lorenzo.
By the way, my son said, he's like, Daddy, I don't think the Knicks would be very good if KP got injured. He said it out of nowhere at dinner. It's like, you're correct.
Wow. Our other podcast is The Brink of Sanity. It's a comedy podcast. You can learn all about funfetti on that podcast.
Yes.
Ralph writes, Jay, Lance is really bowling. You owe him an apology. After that, you will apologize to Noah as he will be bowling. Well.
Okay. There's no way we're ever apologizing. There's no way. No, we'll apologize to Noah if he deserves it. There's no way he'll ever deserve an apology going forward.
Yeah, that read more like an Onion email.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris writes, Chris from the UK here. I'm from Stoke-on-Trent. That sounds made up. It's in the middle of England. Loving the podcast. I'm fairly new to following NBA and Knicks, and your podcast really helped me understand more about it. In reply to the guy that emailed from Southampton, UK, saying he couldn't follow as many Knicks fans as he'd like, we can get the NBA League Pass over here for €15 a month. So the other guy was getting ripped off. And watch every Knicks game, I believe. The only reason I haven't signed up for this is most Knicks games are on during the night here. Anyway, the link is below if you could pass on the info. So it is watch.nba.com.
You know, eventually we'll find out the true calling for our show is just to, like, get discounts for other people internationally watching the Knicks games. By the way, I can't believe how many people actually got back to us about that. That was pretty awesome.
I know. Let's see. Jarellis? I hope I said that right. Jarellis, right. What excites...
Jay, don't mispronounce things on the show, Jay. Like, that's really that's my bit.
It would be a first for the show. What excites me about Frankie is that in a scoring point guard driven league, he shows the potential to be the one to shift the era of that position. He can realistically do something only two others in the NBA history has done before, and that's win Defensive Player of the Year at the point guard position. Hasn't been done since Gary Payton, and I'd rather have Payton running my team than Derrick Rose or Dennis Smith Jr. Very good point.
Yes, that is a good point, and I would rather have Gary Payton as well.
Whereas, writes, the Knicks have been playing amazing, as we can all agree, so when do you guys predict our sugar rush to come crashing down?
I mean, this has to be a question. Knicks, but the schedule going forward is a little bit tougher, so I could see it coming up. We got this week. We got coming up. So we got this week.
I mean, I called when Noah comes back, which would be Monday, tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean that seems like a solid place for it to get worse. This week coming up, the Knicks have Cleveland, Utah, and Toronto. What do you think the record is? That's a tougher week, basically. You feel like all three games are. Is that this week? Jesus, it's a tough week.
That's a bad
Monday,
week.
Wednesday, Friday. This is a hellish week.
I think they could beat Utah. Maybe Cleveland. I mean, they're not playing well right now.
I mean, 2-1, I'd be ecstatic with this week.
Yeah, if they could do 2-1, we'd be happy.
I mean, not to like. I know Noah's coming back, but this is just like I can't like blame him for the fact that this is a tough week. If we go 0-3, though, I'll be really disappointed. I could deal with 1 and 2, but I feel like we can go 2-1. Utah's not that great. Yeah, we can do this.
Bill, who I believe was our caller 2 weeks ago, writes, how about them Knicks if Porzingis can attract some additional guys from across the league during free agency that want to play with him? Isaiah Thomas, Avery Bradley, Paul George, to name a few. There may be a chance where we can have a shot to make a run at the title sooner than we hoped. Thoughts? I think we have a pretty good lineup regarding our starting front court for the next 5 to 10 years.
I like everything. I just don't think the Knicks have much salary cap for next year. Unless Noah just says, "Guys, it's on me. I'm just gonna retire right now." I think the Knicks are kind of screwed for salary cap.
Yeah,
There's not much. I mean, they got some extra from Melo being traded, but they don't have that much.
They need a 3.
And what's his name is obviously opting in. No matter how good Kanter's playing, he's opting in for next year.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's fine. I'm fine.
No, I'm totally fine with having him back. I'm just saying, like, the Knicks just don't have the money.
Yeah.
They need a 3 badly. Yeah. Do you think the Knicks could, like, if you're paying Phil Jackson anyway, for the next couple of years, can we just have Phil Jackson with Clarence Gaines Jr., the two of them work on the draft every year? Like Phil, we're paying you like a truckload of money anyway. You just work on the draft every year.
Let's see. Twitter, Stefan sent advanced metrics on the NBA website for Frankie. His plus-minus offensive rating and defensive rating so far. Frank has the highest plus-minus and the highest offensive rating and second highest defensive rating out of all the rookie draft class, and he plays at least minutes. Dennis Smith Jr. has a minus 10 for the season when he's on the court. So,
who's number one?
For defense?
Well, you said that Ntilikina is number 2. Did you say he's second highest, or you say he's highest?
Highest offensive rating and second highest defensive rating.
Yeah. So who's number 1 for defense?
He sent me separate links for each rookie guy, so I'd have to click on each one and find out.
Okay, don't do any research.
It just came in while we were doing the show.
That's pretty. You don't have to click on it, but that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. We get to Facebook?
Facebook.
Okay, we'll go through these fast. Dow writes, KP is obviously the answer to life, the universe, and everything in Knicks terms. If he stays healthy and the Knicks actually have some success, what do we do? I don't know what to do. Help. EJ, how do we do just happy podcasts over and over again? Like, what is this like? I don't understand.
Well, don't worry. Noah's coming back tomorrow.
Okay, you're right. We'll go back to, like, going on the ledge. Noah, what probably will happen, Noah will come back. He'll play limited minutes. During those limited minutes, he'll break KP's leg, and that'll be the end.
Yeah, he dives for a loose ball, dives into Frank and KP's ankles at the same exact time.
You know, like he'll get a block and go for where, you know, like he does, like the chest bump with his arm, but like he'll actually punch KP in the face instead.
Mm-hmm.
Luis writes, do you believe Coach Horny is retarded when he gives Beasley minutes over Dotson?
I predict that he's going to come to the realization that Beasley's not working by game 20.
First of all, I've really liked. We all give Horny major credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's done a pretty good job with this team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't give him major credit?
No, we do. We thought this was going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they're like 16th or 17th. So that's like 13 places higher than we thought they were going to be.
I mean, he's got everyone hustling. I mean, like, even guys that are limited defensively, he's got everyone playing as good as they're going to play on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, Beasley, I feel like the Knicks need to find. I feel like Horny's looking at this going, if Beasley was playing like we expected, we'd be like, we could really use what we expected out of Beasley.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to get this guy going.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a way to get this guy to use 10% of his brain like he's supposed to. I don't know. Like Beasley, like, don't you feel like the Knicks, like, there's, like, what the hell's wrong with Beasley? Like, Beasley has scored in his past. Why is he this bad?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I think Hornacek knows that once he gives up on Beasley, that's it. So he's giving him every benefit of the doubt to see if he can snap out of it and do good.
Yeah, I feel like maybe, like, Horny's been preaching team, like, offense, team defense, like, moving the ball so much that maybe Beasley has in his head that he doesn't want to screw up so much that he's, like, passing too much. He's being too passive.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like Horny feels like, as you said, like, something's got to click with Beasley. He's got to be better than this.
Yeah.
At the same time, Dotson looks great. I'm a big fan. But do you think, like the caller said, do you think Dotson, like, would you still go limited minutes, or do you think you would push Dotson's minutes?
I mean, if he's going to be out playing Beasley, he gets Beasley's minutes.
Yeah, fair point.
It's a battle
Sean
for
Wright.
minutes. Every position should be a battle for minutes. It doesn't matter about salary or notoriety or anything. You're playing better, you get the minutes.
I mean, Dotson's super athletic. He can play defense, which is Beasley cannot do, and he's better shooter than Beasley. Sean writes, is the ref that LeBron pushed going to get fined for allowing LeBron to push him?
Yeah, LeBron gets away with so much.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what happens. That sounds about right. Matt writes, Frank starting and playing 30-plus minutes. Think he shows wonderful energy and passing on the court, and once he has more confidence for scoring, he'll be fantastic as D is already great.
Yeah, Frank's going to be good.
Yeah,
I was worried when he was injured preseason. I am happy with him.
I'm kind of okay with 20, 25 minutes right now.
Yeah. I mean that is great minutes for a 19-year-old rookie point guard.
Yeah, that says it all. 19. Eric writes, why haven't more younger...
My girlfriend was, she came into the room, I was watching the game, and he came onto the court, and she's like, who's that little kid? She thought he was like a ball boy or something.
Someone I know, he met Ntilikina, and I was like, and he showed me a picture of him with Ntilikina. He was at he works for some company that they had an event, and Ntilikina was there, and I was like, wow, Ntilikina doesn't look that much bigger than you. He's like, yeah, he doesn't look that tall in real life. He's like, the guy doesn't look that big.
Wow.
I mean, the guy that I was talking to, he was 6'3", but Ntilikina is not much taller than the guy. Eric writes, why haven't more younger players looked at forming big threes like LeBron did with Wade and Bosh? I see KP, Giannis, Frank, big three in our future, Eastern Conference champs, dynasty. Well, Eric, I like your idea. Giannis, please be on board with this.
Well, the thing is, the really young guys are locked into rookie contracts. So, you're stuck 4 or 5 years before you can even, entertain that idea.
Yeah, LeBron, how many years was LeBron in the league? He was in the league for at least 6 or 7 years before he did this.
I think 8.
Something like that. Yeah, he was in the league for a while before he did this. I mean, the next guys coming up that can do that would be like the Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, who are already doing that not so well in New Orleans.
Yeah.
James writes, are the Knicks showcasing Cock, who is playing good second-team b-ball, or is he unexpected development put Hernan Gomez on the trade block? Is Willie on the trade block, then does that make KP mad?
That's my worry because I feel like at this point Willie's pretty expendable. But you don't want to make Porzingis mad.
Well, how old is Hernan Gomez? What is he, 21?
Yeah.
So why can't he just develop this year and you can play him more next year? Or maybe he earns his minutes this year. There's no reason to actually trade him right now.
What if he's just not good?
Well, do you really want to give up on a guy that's young?
Why? Has that ever backfired before?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. No, we're the Knicks. Get rid of him.
Hernan Gomez is 23.
He's 23. He's still pretty darn young. He's shown a lot early on. I feel like you hold on to the guy and don't trade him unless you get some kind of really... Unless you're getting something that really blows you out of the way offer-wise, you're not trading him. I don't know. Unless you can use him to get a really solid... Maybe not blow you out of the water. Maybe a really solid 3. Something else that would make the team better, I guess. You're not just going to, he's not expendable, the way, Kuz was.
I can't believe finding minutes for him is a problem now, and Noah's been out.
I know. But that also makes it really, if it's hard to get minutes for Hernan Gomez, it should be super hard to get minutes for Noah, too.
Yeah.
I can't believe how well, Cantor and Kyle Quinn have been playing. Someone's going to get injured anyway. That's the one thing that hasn't hurt the Knicks yet. And not to jinx us, and I'm sure people can kill me after the show because everyone will be injured this week. But the one thing Knicks haven't really dealt with yet this year is injuries.
Yeah, they've been. I mean, other than Frank at the beginning of the season, they've been pretty healthy.
I mean, last couple of years it seems like every other player is injured, all year. But yeah, I mean, would you look to trade Hernan Gomez, or would you just say let him develop and see what happens?
I would probably keep him around. I'd be way too scared of getting Porzingis angry.
I just also think there's too much. We've done too much trading young guys in the past. He has too much upside to give up on him. Like, you don't know what happens in the future with all these players. Like he's still young and pretty good. James writes, assuming that the core with KP is tempting to free agents, who would be the ideal target to pair up with KP to move the team forward to be truly competitive in the East?
Paul George.
Yeah, that'd be a solid 3.
Although Paul George is probably almost 30 at this point, right?
Yeah, I guess that if you did that, you'd probably be like going for it next year.
Paul George is only 27.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, then he'd be a solid guy to compare.
Yeah.
Though I really think he's going to play with somehow he's playing with LeBron next year.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's going to be either in OKC or the Lakers, but getting a guy like Paul George would just be so huge. Can you imagine Paul George getting like Beasley's minutes? Such a
And Beasley and Horney still giving Beasley the minutes. George is like, "Are you kidding me?" Well, I want to see what we have with Beasley first. Did you know what I'm knowing about Beasley? Like, I feel like he's very similar to Derek Williams in some ways. A guy that I feel like Derek Williams, at least like when the Knicks said you need to score, he at least score. He could at least do that.
Mm-hmm.
And Beasley cannot seem to be able to do that.
Beasley cannot seem to do much at this point.
He cannot seem to do much, yes. But hopefully we can apologize to Beasley. I'm happy to apologize to Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, Beasley, Lance Thomas deserves all your minutes, if not Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
So take that, Beasley. You know what the problem also is with the Knicks? If the Knicks have a pretty decent year, which they look like they're going to, they're not going to have a high draft pick. And with the fact that they're max salary cap wise, I don't see how they fill the 3 through free agency. Like, they're gonna have to fill it with a draft. Like, they have to fill it with from within or the draft, really.
Yeah. It's this is again why you don't give guys like Noah and Hardaway $17 million a year.
It's Jay. No one thought that was a bad idea at the time. Come on, Jay. John writes,
Thanks,
"Don't
Tommy.
like." No, Jay. No one thought it was a bad idea. Don't like KP hitting the floor as much as he is. As tall as he is, I definitely shorten his career if he doesn't stop it. This is what John wrote. Yeah, KP hit the floor a lot inside the Sacramento game. What do you think about that?
It gives me anxiety attacks. I like the passion. I like the effort, but it does make me nervous.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he's hitting it that hard. But yeah, John writes, Philly, LA, Boston, Phoenix, Sacramento, Orlando, and Minnesota. Yet all you hear about is New York passing on Dennis Smith Jr. If he's an MVP caliber point guard, then 8 teams passed on him, not just the Knicks. By the way, Dallas is tied for the worst in the league, though they have a top 3 future Hall of Fame head coach. Not saying Smith isn't good, but I'd rather have Frank's defensive-minded, pass-first, team-oriented skills and future right now than Derrick Rose 2.0 and lose.
Yep, agreed.
But also, everyone was. I mean, the thing with Dennis Smith also is everyone was worried about his knees, and I don't think he submitted like. There's something about him not submitting like a physical with the Knicks or something like he didn't like. There was something where like they didn't get the they weren't feeling good about their medical concerns.
Right, and just because he's healthy for 14 games doesn't mean his knees aren't going to explode. Like, you know, do you really want to take a chance on the guy with knee issues after what we went through with Amari? Like, no.
It's also nice that the Knicks have a guy where you're like, oh, he's pretty good on defense. His offense he has to work on, but like he's pretty good on defense. Like the fact that like they have guys that play good defense is like just a rarity. Like this is what the '90s Knicks did. They had a lot of guys that played really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Paul writes, how will the Cantor, Cock, Billy, Noah center jam play? We're almost done, Jay. Play out. Where will it be after the February 8th trade deadline? Will there be a trade? Other players included to find another wing?
I don't think Cantor or, you know, I want to say Cock, but his minutes are inconsistent now.
I don't think they're going to give any of the guys that are in the rotation right now are not being traded in my mind. Like, I think the Knicks are going to let it play out with this team.
Yeah, I do too.
I think if anything, I mean, they'll give some guys some they'll probably find a guy or two in the D League who are playing well and give them a shot. But I just don't see. I don't see us getting any. I don't think it's getting any help with the trade deadline. And no one's taking Noah, so
we don't want to trade Cock.
So what do you think about the Noah for Luol Deng?
I'd be all in on that. Same as that contract. Same money, same amount of years. It clears up our logjam and gives us a defensive 3. And if Deng sucks, we're in the same. It's fine.
He's 32. Why not take a chance? He's older, obviously, but Noah sucks anyway. Noah's at a position that's a logjam. Deng is at a position where there's still a nice battle for who gets minutes there.
Yeah, it's so Deng takes. I'd rather Deng take Beasley's minutes than Noah take Cantor's minutes.
I don't know how to argue this for the Lakers. Why the Lakers should do this. The Lakers are not playing Deng, so you're swapping a guy you're not playing for another guy you're not playing. The contracts are the same length. I don't know. They're not playing him. Maybe they'll play Noah.
Right. Who knows?
I don't know.
Brook Lopez does have an injury history.
Lakers, do it now. Frank writes, wouldn't it be amazing if that was when that was announced today? That they did a 2-for-1 swap for Kuz and Noah for Deng. And you never see Noah in a Knicks uniform again. Frank writes, call me crazy, but I think Noah is going to be productive member of this team.
You're crazy.
Without restraints of the triangle, we've seen the emergence of KP as a top 5 player in the league, and Lee is finally showing that what we thought we were getting when we signed him. I'm feeling really positive about Noah. That'd be awesome. I don't know. Yeah, we'd all be very happy if Noah ends up being good, right?
Of course. He's been bad for 3 straight years, and he's 32, so it's not going to happen. But yes, we'd be happy if it did.
Yes, we're excited to get our fourth best center back. Frank writes, recently Colin Cowherd said the Celtics were going to be the equivalent of the New England Patriots in the Eastern Conference for the next 10 years. I think he's arrogant gasbag whose ego is only topped by Phil Jackson's. Thoughts? The Celtics look like they have something really good there.
Yeah. It's hard to crap on a team that won 12 straight games.
They won 12 straight games. Everyone's super young on the team. Yeah, they have a lot going for them. I don't know if they're going to be the Patriots, but they have a lot going for them.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to be the Patriots because you're not winning 4 or 5 championships when the Warriors are in the league.
Yes, that's the one thing that's missing from that. I feel like they have a good chance of dominating the East, or a pretty decent shot. At the same time, the regular season, the playoffs are much different. Are they going to be that much? Milwaukee's going to be very good also. It's as good as KP is playing. Giannis is playing amazing also.
Yeah.
By the way, is everyone calling him? Are we calling him Giannis? Are we calling him the Greek Freak still? What are we calling him?
I think Greek Freak.
Okay. What do you think what's the also, just on a side note also, what's the what nickname should we be going with Frenchie, Frankie Nicotine, all these what's a good nickname? Do you think here's a question. Do you think you'll get a nickname that's going to stick? The nickname I feel like there are very few nicknames in the NBA where the player becomes LeBron James, King James, that just sticks. Malone, the mailman, that stuck. A lot of nicknames don't really stick that well. They don't become they don't become as synonymous as the guy's actual name.
Right. I think the mailman stuck.
Yeah, no, the mailman was one of the better ones. I think the mailman was one of the better ones in NBA history. What else has been think about what other nicknames in history have been as good? What have been the best nicknames in NBA history, or the best ones that stuck? You had Sir Charles, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. I like the French Prince.
But are you going to call him the French Prince? It's a good name, but are you going to call him that? Are you going to be the French Prince with the shot?
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like you actually use the mailman when you're watching Malone. You're watching a Utah game, you'd be they would be almost the ball to the mail. I guess maybe they did it. I don't know. I feel like it's a name that basically could be French Prince is just too long of a name. The most for Porzingis, the most common one is KP, even though it's not much of a nickname.
Yeah.
But at least that one, you can just call him that during the game. Ntilikina is just such a long damn name.
No, they're gonna come up with something. They're not gonna call him Ntilikina.
Okay. Gillum writes, is KP the most improved player? What rivals do you think he could have?
For most
Greek Freak?
improved? Yeah, Greek Freak.
I don't know who else would be up there.
It's the two of them right now. It's a two-man race.
And KP probably wins that just because, I mean, Giannis was like pretty darn. I mean, they both were good last year, but Giannis was better last year,
Yes.
like closer to where he is now than KP. KP just made a gigantic jump.
Yeah.
Aaron writes, I haven't had a question in a while, but I'm super excited about this team. Is the unicorn really this good, or are we dreaming? Also, aren't you guys stoked Carmelo is gone? Hi, guys.
Yes and yes. Yes on both.
Yes, and yes. Do you think OKC is going to come pull it together and have a good season? I mean, yes, they are, right?
Yeah. I mean, they won again. They're 6-7. They'll pull it together.
You were saying you thought they might be the second best team in the West.
I still
you only want to take?
No, I don't want to take that back.
Okay, because you know you're wrong, right?
I mean, were they going to be third?
Okay. Well, Houston's right now the second best team in the West.
Yeah.
And then Chris Paul's not playing yet. Gillen writes, is KP already better than Melo was at his highest as a Knick? So peak Melo Knicks versus KP right now.
It's very close already.
Well, it's not, I mean, no, KP's doing better. I mean, it's not even a question, actually. You really think KP still has to prove it's sustainable, but KP's numbers are like otherworldly. They're better than anything Melo did with his Knick. You disagree? I mean, just the level of efficiency and his defense.
Yeah, that's true. Melo, when he was even scoring as much as KP, he was playing worse defense at a worse efficiency. This is like, I think we haven't seen a Knicks player play like this since the first half of Amari's first season in New York.
Yeah, I guess you can go there. But
Amari was nuts that first half of that season.
He was great, but he wasn't playing defense.
He
like
wasn't.
the KP is on defense is like ridiculous. Also, he gets a lot of blocks, and he makes so many guys change their shot because of him.
Yeah, no, this could be the best we've seen since Ewing.
So if you look at Melo's best year as a Knick, I guess the 12-13 season, he had 28 points a game. He led the league in scoring. He shot about 45% field goal percentage, and his I guess efficient field goal percentage, whatever the stat is, it's about 50%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he also put up in that season about 7 rebounds, 2.5 steals, so about 3 assists a game. Whatever. Let's look at the KP real quick. Just how ridiculous his season is. I mean, this is like KP's season right now. Is his efficient field goal percentage is 56%. He's shooting 51% from the field, 41% from 3, 30 points a game, more points than Melo was scoring, a little more rebounds, a little bit less assists, but more blocks. I mean, the thing is, he intimidates on defense, which Melo never did.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is no knock on Melo. KP's just having an absurd start to his season.
Yep.
I wouldn't say like KP's suddenly better than Melo was. We'll have to see throughout the whole season. But right now, it's freaking amazing. Gilliam writes, how would you redraft the top 10 regardless of team selecting from what we've seen so far? We can make this fast, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tatum.
NBA. I just want to pull up the actual draft. Tatum first?
Yeah.
I figured you were going to say Tatum first. Well, are you already going to say Fultz is a bust?
No, but I wouldn't draft him
way
third.
too early. It's like saying people like last year were probably saying well, Ben Simmons is a bust because he's not playing, and now Ben Simmons looks amazing.
He's gonna win Rookie of the Year.
Okay,
and it's not even gonna be close. Ben Simmons is putting up like peak LeBron numbers almost. It's like he's almost averaging a triple double.
Yeah, not quite peak LeBron numbers, but yeah. Okay, number 1 we say Tatum. 2, who do you got? 2, you say Lonzo Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a triple double the other night. He still looks pretty darn good. 3, who you got at 3? I'd say De'Aaron Fox. I like what I've seen from him.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. 4, Fultz. I mean, it's hard to take. The guy's supposed to be so good. He hasn't really played. He's only played injured. How far are you going to drop him?
Yeah, but we're redrafting based on what we've seen so far.
So we're not going to draft Fultz at all?
No. If you're redrafting based on results, which is the whole point of this, you're not drafting Fultz.
Fine, I'm gonna follow the point of this. Okay, who do you have it for then?
Ntilikina.
Sure. I haven't. You know, the thing is, I haven't seen enough of Josh Jackson or Isaac to really know. I have not been impressed when I saw Josh Jackson play. I was not overly impressed when I saw Jonathan Isaac play. And I know Markkanen's hitting some shots for Chicago, but I don't know how impressed I am either. I mean, they're all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ntilikina's next.
I would probably go Markkanen 5.
Really?
Has anybody else impressed you more?
How's Jackson playing? I don't know. Jackson is supposed to be known for his defense. Yeah. I don't really know. I mean, Phoenix is playing better now.
The problem is I've seen a lot of these guys either once or nonce.
I mean, I watched all the Knicks games, and I don't watch that much else.
I think the point of this was to see where we'd put Frank, and we got to Frank at 4, so we can end this experiment.
Jay, the whole point of this is to talk about Bam Adebayo. We want to know where he goes. So we're going to get to the 14th pick.
Did you know Simmons is averaging 17, 9, and 8?
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. What's his shooting percentage?
48.6.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's crazy also because they already had Embiid. And you were like, well, if they none of the guys. I mean, you already were Embiid's potential top 5 player in the NBA in the future.
Yeah, and
Ben Simmons is now a potential top 5. 5 years from now, they both could be top 5 players in the NBA.
Yeah.
So if they could just not whiff with the Fultz pick, they could be really, really good.
Yeah.
Too bad they don't have anyone else that can hit a shot.
Nobody, huh?
No one.
They don't have a guy who's hitting 5 or 6 threes a game.
Somewhere someone wrote, I forget where it was, they were like that the Knicks should try to get Robert Covington in the offseason. I was like, God damn it.
This is going to haunt you forever.
Oh my God. I mean, do you ever just sit there and listen to that episode for the 2 hours I made fun of you for that pick?
No, but I do make sure I check Sixers box score constantly.
For those who are new listener for the show and want to know what the hell we were talking about, Jay, we had a fantasy league we were doing. We did a live show. Jay overpaid for Robert Covington because it's an auction style league, and I was giving him crap the entire show, for probably 2 hours of the show, and Jay has been laughing at me ever since.
Except that I did not overpay. I underpaid.
Shut the hell up. Final questions, and I don't know how I accidentally closed this. I got this.
Embiid, by the way, is
last question.
Embiid's averaging 20 and 10 in 28 minutes.
Holy crap. What's Philly's record?
I think they're right around 500. I think
yeah.
They are 6-6. They are exactly 500.
Okay, last question. Alan writes, I'm requesting a segment devoted to the shit-talking LeBron for his dumb comment last night. Well,
we all know LeBron's not a good GM. I mean, he pushed for Tristan Thompson to get a max contract.
I mean, look at the way that team is constructed.
Yeah.
So many 2 first-round picks for Mozgov who's not even on the team anymore. LeBron, you suck at being GM. Barry said it. Michael Jordan was a much better GM than you ever were. I just hope the Knicks beat. I hope the Knicks beat Cleveland tomorrow night just for the dumbass comments he made. And also could be pretty cool to go 2-0 against Cleveland this year.
Yeah.
That 54 win season, weren't they 4-0 against Miami that year, or 3-1?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So we can beat the crap out of LeBron again. LeBron's got to be also so pissed at this team he's constructing around him. Being like, what the hell have I done?
He has nobody to blame but himself.
Yes. But no, I'm sure he can find some he probably you're like, oh, you should have drafted you should have taken Dennis Smith Jr. Hey, you know what you should have done, LeBron? You should have basically treated Kyrie Irving better and not have to deal with Derrick Rose anymore.
Right.
Okay, what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that it's 12 games into the season and we're still in a good mood, which is a record for the 8 years we've been doing this podcast. I think this is a record.
Which is also amazing because after the first week of the season, Jay was almost in suicide mode. Jay was just like, this is the worst thing possible after the first 0-3 start.
I almost had a complete meltdown.
I mean, yeah, after that first show of the season, the show ended. Jay was pretending to be optimistic, which was pretending that he just wasn't. I could tell he wasn't like fully there. I was like, what the hell's up, Jay? And he was just like, this is unbelievable. How the Knicks? This roster is so horrible. Jay just went off basically post show, and I was like, this is going to be a long ass season. And now the Knicks have been amazing ever since.
Yeah, really, they've been 7-2 since.
Yeah, do you want to make this your Scott Perry apology episode?
Apology for what?
I don't know. You wrote down this team, and Perry's done a really good job of putting the team together.
Let's see what happens with Noah this week.
Okay. Do you ever dream about Perry, at night, think about his face and count the freckles to put you to sleep?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You cannot go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
I think it's really cool that people have listened to us for 5 straight years.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely pretty cool.
Did you know that Covington's averaging 3.6 threes a game?
Oh, do you know that I want you to go to hell?